Well, good morning, Borida and bonjour everybody. Summer's shining, so I thought I'd get out and do a long-term test of my bike. I've had it nearly 2 years now, and I thought I'd drive off into the mountains, which is far more pleasant than trying to film in the garage. But I've also just awarded myself Dickhead of the Week award. As I was approaching the Owl's Nest, which I've just arrived at now for Ian's excellent mockers, I was fiddling around with a camera to show where the entrance of the Owl's Nest is. And all of a sudden my bike stopped. I thought, oh no. So I pulled over, and then a very kind gentleman by the name of Richard Lewis stopped to see what was wrong, another biker. And I worked out took me about 5 minutes that when I was messing around with the camera, I'd hit the kill switch. So I was cursing Kawasaki, saying the voltage regulator's gone, and I'd knocked the kill switch off. So I say, I'm coming clean about it, but I really have won Dickhead of the Week award for that one. Anyway, I'm about to have my mocker, then I'm going to head off up to Senny Bridge, down towards Danarogov Caves, and I'll do a little bit of a chat about the bike then. Catch you soon. Well, I've enjoyed an excellent breakfast at the Owl's Nest. I'm now parked up above the Cray Reservoir. It's spelled C-R-A-I. I think it's pronounced Cray, but I'm not a Welsh speaker, so it might be Cry. I'm not sure. So if you do shout out Cymraeg, perhaps you could leave a comment to let me know how to say it properly. Anyway, I thought I've had the bike now nearly 2 years, and I thought I'd do a long-term review of it and let you know its good points and bad points. So what I'll do, I'll start giving you a walkthrough about the bike, and then I'll go into the mechanical details. Okay, starting here at the front, we got twin discs, mudguards plastic, normal forks. I quite like a low-tech bike, which is one of the reasons I chose this. So there's no upside down forks or anything like that. The instrument cluster, this is last year's model, if you like. In 2020, this is a 2019 bike, they introduced a TFT screen with Bluetooth. Again, personal preference, I couldn't care less about having Bluetooth. The tank is holds, I think it's 3 gallons, 3.3 UK gallons, which is 4 US gallons and 15 litres. It's pretty economical. If I ride without thinking about economy, I get around 68 to the gallon out of it. I have had over 80, and if I ride it like a hooligan, I think the worst I've had is 54, which is not bad. And then if you have a look at the seat, this bit comes off and the battery's underneath. The pillion seat is not particularly good. When my wife's on the back, after about an hour, she has to get off and stretch her legs. And I think that's even the same with the rider's seat as well. Back has got a single disc brake, and again, no real trick suspension either, no riding modes or anything like that. I fitted a Jiffy rack and top box. It's ugly as sin, but it's dead useful. You know, I've got all sorts of stuff in there, puncture repair kits and tools, etc., just in case. I also put the crash bobbins on. They're from R&G Racing. The engine itself is 650. You can see it's water cooled. In terms of power, it knocks out 67 brake horsepower, 63.7 Newton meters. The weight of the bike, and it's quite light, is just 187 kilos, which is 412 pounds. That's the wet weight. In terms of top speed, I've actually seen one on YouTube, some guy getting 212 kilometers an hour out of one on the Autobahn, which is about 125 mile an hour. I've never thrashed it that hard, but I'm sure it could do it if it wanted to. So just let the traffic go by. One of the army trucks. Okay, the seat height, this is something that appealed to me. The seat height is only 790 millimeters. It's lower than a lot of 125s. This has got some distinct advantages. Firstly, if you're a shorter rider, I'm an average sort of height, I'm 5'10". But if you're a shorter rider, your legs are obviously nearer the ground. But my drive is sloping, so I can get my feet nice and flat on the ground, still have some bend in my knee, so I can actually push the bike up the drive without having to start the engine. Or on my last bike, my CBF 1000, I couldn't do that. If I'd had a flat battery or anything, I would have had to have somebody help me push the bike up the drive. Now, I really like the handling of this bike. I'm sure there's better ones out there, but for the great price that you can get these for, I find I can get around some of the twisty roads here quicker than my 1000, because I think the shorter wheelbase helps the handling. It's obviously got ABS brakes as well. The things I don't like about it, the seat isn't particularly comfortable. When I first had it, my bum used to die after about an hour. But I've found now, having had it a bit longer, I can normally go an hour and a half to 2 hours without stopping, which is fine for most purposes. One of the big things I don't like about it, doesn't affect me too much, is that the service intervals are around 3,600 miles. Now I only do a low mileage, and it's got to be serviced once a year, so it doesn't make a huge difference to me. But if you do a lot of miles, then that's a big disadvantage as far as I'm concerned. When you're servicing the bike, the oil is dead easy. I'm not sure you can see that there. There's the oil filter. That's easy to reach. And there's the oil inspection window just there. I've changed the oil on this every 1,000 to 1,500 miles because I like to have clean oil in it. When it comes to doing the air filter, I can't remember the service interval, but it's quite a long way in. But at the 7,800 mile service, the tank's got to come off to access the spark plugs. So if the tank's off, you might as well do the air filter. It's about £12. So it's due for the service actually in 2 days' time. So I'm putting a new air filter in, even though it doesn't need it. It's having new plugs. That's part of that service. And I'm also putting new brake fluid in to make sure that's all in tip-top condition as well. In terms of the lights, that's another thing that a more modern bike probably scores over it. I quite like it's a Street Fighter-ish style, I would say, on this. But the 2019 model has still got tungsten bulbs. I think these were then replaced with LED bulbs, which are much nicer in 2020. And I read somewhere, I haven't upgraded them to LED, I read somewhere it's actually illegal to do that. It's one of those silly loophole laws that the UK occasionally have, you know. You can't retrofit an LED on an older bike, which to my mind doesn't make sense, but there you are. What else can I say about it? The mirrors, swing mirrors are fine. They're adequate. I wouldn't say outstanding, but they're not useless either. So there we are. So overall, I'm actually very pleased with the bike. It's fairly cheap to run. I've just insured it. Okay, I'm an old bloke, but my licence is clean. And I've just paid £68 fully comprehensive for the year to insure the machine. Road tax has gone up. So that's for those people watching this in the UK. Road tax on this now is, I think it was £91. It's best part of 100 British pounds anyway, which I think is quite a lot. My little car is only 30 quid. A lot of plastic on the bike, which has its advantages. It's not as pretty as polished metal or chrome, but it doesn't rust, does it? And to access things like the fuses, these side panels come off. It's hard to actually tell where they join, but all this is one panel, and it's held on by 3 bolts and 4 push rivets. I fitted some extras. I put a double USB socket in for charging a mobile, and on the odd occasion I use a sat-nav. The other thing I've fitted, I've got electrically heated jackets and gloves, and there's the outlet for them. And this is the outlet for the charger. I leave it on trickle charge. So overall, I think the bike is great value for money. I bought it 2 years ago and I actually got it for under £5,000 brand new. Kawasaki were introducing the new model with a TFT screen, and they discounted this by £800 and offered 4 years 0% finance on it. So I was looking at that or the Suzuki 650, and with the finance and the price, it was a no-brainer, and I don't regret the decision. I actually really like the bike. So there you are. I'd recommend it. I'm on my way now to have a look at some more pretty mountains around here, and I'll catch you soon. Bye-bye. I'm back again. Didn't expect that. One thing I forgot was the exhaust note. Some people seem to have a thing about exhaust notes. Again, something I don't care about, but let's see if we can pick up the proper sound. And then there's the usual standard dashboard. The various functions, average miles per gallon, the time, etc, etc. And you can also change it from miles per hour to kilometers per hour if you're taking it onto the continent.